what you did for a living isn't your legacy. Your legacy is your children and their children and you know, how they feel about you, how they feel about... Listen, we all make mistakes and we all fail in life at many different things. My opinion is the one thing that you can't fail is being a parent. It's the ultimate failure. It's what showed that you really weren't focused on the right things in your life if that's what you failed at.
I mean, I just don't understand how you don't want your legacy to be carried on, bro. Like,
my legacy is me. My legacy is not my kids. My legacy is me. My legacy is my show. My legacy is Amani. My legacy is not my kids, because average people will be like, oh, I want a legacy, but you're average. You live like a peasant. So what is your legacy? Let's say that you are above average. You're a millionaire. You're brilliant. You've made all these contributions to society. Your kid could come out to be a crackhead. Your kids could come out to be a school shooter. And that's the legacy? That's your legacy? I don't think that legacies, people even really know what they mean, because your legacy starts with you. And if you don't have a legacy in your name, your kids ain't got shit to do with your legacy. People think that a legacy is just having kids. No, your legacy is what you set your kids up for. And a lot of people don't got two fucking pennies to rub together, but want to have kids and a legacy. What fucking legacy do you have? A legacy of debt? You are an everyday average citizen, sir.
So you consider that's so fucking selfish, bro.
No, selfish. Actually, it's selfish to have kids because you think that you're so great that you're going to pass on something great to your kids, to the world. You're not that great.
I love what she said so much, because people kill me with this legacy and then they gaslight you by calling you selfish. First of all, I've never met Martin Luther King or Malcolm X's children, and I am well aware of their legacy. And their legacy has impacted millions of people who have never met their children. And as far as the selfish idea of not having children, it's so selfish. But I would challenge anyone, and this is a genuine challenge. Respond to this TikTok with a reason to have kids that isn't selfish. Respond with a reason to have kids that is actually about the kid. I would love to hear it. Because in all my years of people telling me you just got to have children, it's selfish not to have children, I have never heard a single reason for having children that has anything to do with the child. It is always about what the child is going to do for the parents or the world after they arrive. It is never about the person before they're here.
Women's legacies aren't carried on. That's the issue. Why would I risk my life having a child with someone and my last name isn't carried on? My accomplishments aren't carried on, especially in a world where people who look like me, women who look like me, are the ones who are more accomplished. The issue we keep running into is that you guys don't view your kids as children. You view them as extensions of yourselves. So you want them to exist only in your honor, not in their own. But you don't have the ability to have them. And that's your irritation. You want all the glitz, glam, and glory of having a child with your last name, but you don't have the ability to have them. And the way society is working right now, you don't even have the accolades to carry on a so-called last name legacy. So why is it that because you were born with your genitalia and your reproductive organs on the outside of your body, I must risk my life as a woman, as a black woman in the United States, carrying on your last name when I have more accolades? Risking my life to have your legacy is no longer a benefit for women.
With all the chaos happening now with women's rights and gender equality, some people don't understand why women are opting out of marriage and motherhood. Of course, it's easier for men to blame feminism for corrupting women, but that is far from the truth. Yes, being a mother is as terrible as you've heard. And I'm not being dramatic when I say motherhood is a terrifying experience.
My pain was a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. Every time I moved, it just felt like someone was stabbing me with another knife.
I just thought I was having a bowel movement, but the pain really started to get bad. I didn't have a thought of what was coming out of me. On a scale from 1 to 10, the pain was a 10.
Scientists have proven that a woman's brain takes a 360-degree turn before childbirth. The pain a woman faces during pregnancy and childbirth has different levels. First, you endure long hours of contraction, which is worse than menstrual pain. Then comes the pain radiating from the cervix, through the abdomen, groin, and back. Stabbing you in the stomach, paralyzing your legs, makes you not even want to move. We go through life trying to do everything possible for our children, But there are times we feel as if the world is collapsing under our feet. Sometimes when I think of having a second baby, the pain scares the shit out of me. But the joy gives me courage. Motherhood can be so tiresome, difficult, challenging, and at times, heartbreaking, but becoming a mother changed my life. Personally, it changed me for the better, and I believe most mothers will agree. Moms grow new hearts during pregnancy. The brains of pregnant women undergo a radical transformation thanks to hormonal fluctuations. In fact, mothers' brains change more during pregnancy and after childbirth than at any other time in life, including puberty. In 2010, a brain scan study found 19 women before and after giving birth and found that the mother's brains increased shortly after giving birth. Changes in the brain may be related to how different maternal skills develop. As our brain grows, hormones, including estrogen, oxytocin, and prolactin, increase. During the various stages of pregnancy, a mother's brain partially rewires to better detect danger with a certain sensitivity to angry or scared facial expressions. The strongest vigilance for threats appears to occur during the second and third trimesters, and some researchers think it's because a mother's brain builds new synapses to help her adapt to motherhood. It makes sense because she has improved learning and spatial skills and is willing to defend herself from predators. Mothers are faced with a dilemma to either stay in their nest, protect their children and keep them warm, or find food to keep them from starving but risk exposing their children to danger. Mothers who do not naturally experience a brain reward response when interacting with their baby can develop mental illness and usually become a danger to themselves and the baby. Seeing their baby cry activates a part of the brain associated with pain, dishonesty, or disgust. A recent survey of over 14,000 women suggested that women with 3 or more children have a 12% lower risk of dementia. Another study proved that 45% of women have an increased risk of anxiety, depression, and even post-traumatic stress disorder during childbirth. But many dangerous and dull mental problems haunt mothers, especially when they switch to nurturing mode. Motherhood changes women more than men will ever comprehend. Scientists discover fetal cells in the craziest places. Our children colonize our lungs, spleen, kidneys, thyroid, and skin. Their cells are deposited in our bone marrow and in our breasts. More often than not, these changes remain permanent. If you take the time to really examine moms, you'll find that moms aren't that ordinary. Mothers often look very different from the rest of humanity. Our entire physical self is in transition during pregnancy. Our moles can darken, our voices get deeper. Our noses swell, our curves flatten, and our nails fall out. Our hair can change color, curl, or shade. When we belch, it is as if we have swallowed a cyclone bomb. The bile in our liver can stop flowing, leaving us itchy like the Dickens. And we become more adorable to mosquitoes due to our increased body temperature and carbon dioxide emissions. Motherhood is about strength. We tend to focus our attention on the joys of motherhood. However, being a mother isn't as simple as riding the baby's fumes and making their button noses twitch. As usual, pain is accompanied by pleasure, and motherhood should not be forced on anyone. Women need to be emotionally prepared for the changes that come with pregnancy. Those who accidentally get pregnant often regret the consequences of sex.
Men have succeeded in gaslighting society into believing that men will provide and protect women, when the reality is men provide for themselves and protect their own interests. Patriarchy demands that men provide for wives and families, but what it really demands, underneath the gaslighting, is that men provide themselves with a wife and a family. Look at what happens in divorce court when men are so happy to desert their wives and children and not support them anymore once they do not have perceived ownership of them. The same thing happens when we're talking about protection. Men feel zero obligation to protect women unless they have perceived ownership of them. But they will protect their interests and the interests of other men, especially when it comes to benefiting from the systems that they have constructed. Men provide for themselves and protect their own self-interests.
I just want to add something, especially for younger women, or you have a pattern of men always trying to trap you and threaten you with getting you pregnant. Those type of men, based off of my observation and knowing those type of guys in the past, they literally in their jumbled minds view women as property. It is not to be flattered by. It is not a compliment. It is a collection. Think of Future, part of my collection. The men don't care about them children. You are just a collection and a resume and a portfolio of what he was able to collect. If he has money, he's going to play the narcissistic images if he cares by being known as the dad that takes care of them monetarily, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and energetically is them kids and you. So watch yourself before you get trapped thinking that is cute, because it's not, and it's
I was so lucky to have a mom like mine and a fantastic support system that helped me become the best mom I could be, and I'm so grateful to be a part of a community nurturing another generation. The whole maternal cords are tied in many systems to pleasure, stress, memory, fear, pain, love, and pretty much everything hormonal, and the more these connections flare up, the stronger we become. Because we have already done the hardest part, giving birth, we become brave. Braver than we could ever imagine. Our children become the center of our world. We can do anything to protect them. To give our children the life we never had. Even better, because bravery is our greatest gift, mothers are ready to weather any storm in the future.
That's it for today. Before you leave, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and smash the notification bell so you don't miss my next video.